Welcome back to Final Fantasy V once again for the Job Shuffle Kerfuffle Challenge. I'm gonna spin this wheel to determine my starting job. After every boss fight, I'm spinning it again to determine my next job. The 22 standard jobs, along with the 4 advanced jobs, are in the pool. Any learned abilities can be retained and used freely after I switch jobs. Except, I'm going to ban any advanced job abilities from being transferable. Spamming Hellwind, Finisher, or Open Fire every single fight is fun exactly one time. I'll use these abilities if I'm currently using that job, but only then. So let's go ahead and spin that wheel to determine how this whole wacky adventure starts. The Magical Master Black Mage it is. With no starting weapons or magic, it's a good thing that these starting goblins have exactly 1 HP. Several goblin punches later, and Lena and Gloof are in the party, and job change to Black Mage. There's not going to be any more fighting yet. I'm racing over to the pirate ship. Ferris fakes out capturing the party, then she's joining in on the fun. Sailing straight over to Tool for Black Magic. There's no daggers on sale, so spell slinging only. Trusting in Thalers and Thunder, I fought 10 battles for Black Magic level 1 before ascending the Wind Shrine. You know that I used and abused that free slurpable healing pod. It's a really good thing I got those levels too, because Wing Raptor's got some serious magic defense. Why would Squaresoft even set that up? You're not even supposed to have magic here. Definitely worth leveling up to level 4 because I would have ran out of MP otherwise. That being said, Wing Raptor is still the tutorial boss. Alright, he's a boss. Spin it! Monkey business it is. Back to Tool, I stocked up on items and then headed over to Zoc! Canal key acquired, and all it cost me was the scent of Lena's bubblegum colored hair. Torna Canal's women-hating 8-legged sea creatures continue to hate women. What a surprise. Strongly and independently, Lena and Ferris tanked them all like champs. I stayed inside the canal, mashing mollusks for a single job level on Monk. With focus, I've locked in and locked on to Carlobos. A few focused fistings caused Carlobos to French his way out of here. Ho ho ho, agité le drapeau blanc. Easy come, easy go, Sildra. Oh, Monk too. Just perfect. Unlocking White Mage just before I can snag my greatest ally, the Flail. Get in here, buddy, we're making this happen. Just kidding. The ship graveyard's White Mage's time to shine since everything inside is undead. Offensive curing is a go-go. Over here, the double undead husk fight is 3 ability points. It's actually really fast to job level up here. The reality of the wheel is I may never actually see White Mage ever again. So I leveled it up to job level 3. Just far enough along to get Kira when I get to Karnak. Getting to level 9 also helped a lot with blocking out the sultry sounds from the Sinister Siren. Focused flailing would be pretty funny, but I'm just gonna wait until she's in undead form. I've got both fire and cure, but let's stay on brand with what? Cures come out on Siren, and on me! Venom Clasp lays out Ferris. I was in the front row, forgive me. Should have been in the back. Youch! Undead Siren hurts, but I get some brief relief in human form. I threw that super secret Phoenix down from Tycoon Meteor on Ferris. Then I cured up. She's back, and promptly cured to death. A dead boss means a new job. Believe it or not, Gaia actually rocks in this early stage of the game. Carwin's got the goods, including new armor and consumables. I loaded up for the trip to the North Mountain. Maybe even the peak? Okay, so maybe Gaia doesn't completely rock. The headstones are immune to Ignis Fatuus inside the caves. No matter, I'll simply cheese it outside where Gust and Earthquake takes everything down, except the flying enemies. Hey, look at that, I'm immune to the poison from the flowers too. I fought battles outside here to gain 1 level of Geomancer for the mighty Gaia command. Lena used it to completely tear the mountain apart so I can't pull the dart out of her jugular vein. Gaia even trashes Magisa and her husband Forza. Gus can actually land, and earthquakes are insane this early on. What job's next? New Night Lena's letting the poison ride so she can heal Hiryu, who then heals her, all so I can fly down a waltz. New heavy armor's nice, but how long's it even gonna last? Definitely not that long as a meteor comes crashing down while I converse with the king. Waiting up the wall's tower's a breeze thanks to spamming Gaia. It's Wind Slash all the way to the top. Gorilla's prepared to smack down my knights, but I've got just kidding. A handful of Wind Slashes and Garulla's shredded. Unfortunately, rogue whirlwinds kept going all the way to the water crystal and shattered it. Time for collecting job shards. Oh wait, in this run, it's spinning the wheel. Better living through chemistry. I think this guy's got a 2nd degree in geology with how much he's spamming Gaia though. How convenient. The first enemies that show up are grass tortoises. I'm gonna get some turtle shells for mixing madness. At Karnak, I entered the shop, but they just started making fun of me for my fedora with safari flaps in the back. Sid says I'm the only guy he's ever seen pull it off. After a good laugh from everybody, I'm let out. Branch spearing and leaf blowing knacks isn't remarkable, but it's better than the knife. A knack grinding session is traditional, and I'm not going to be the weak link in the dynasty. I grinded to level 15, learned mix, and got a little nest egg going. Fully equipped up with new mithril gear and Karnak's curative spells. It's time to tackle the fire ship. There is a non-zero chance I pull Thief, Ninja, or even Mime or Freelancer, so I made sure to grab that ultimate frisbee. Afterwards, it was just Gaia, Gust, and Goons to get to the engine room. Liquid Flame attacks? Turns out I've made a critical blunder. Gaia's no good, but it's all gravy, baby, because thanks to Chemist's natural pharmacology, potions are healing twice as much. The strategy for Liquid Flame is simple. Smack it to shift it to tornado form, and then wait out his MP. Once the MP's all gone, it's a quick double dagger attack to swap it twice. Hopefully back to tornado form. The hand form is okay, but it's still got a little bit of MP. Every time Liquid Flame shifts forms, it does a counter, but in tornado form it only tries to heal itself. So you can just sit there, using potions to get back to full health in between phase shifts. This ended up being a very long fight, but also incredibly safe. Eventually, after spending a lot of potions, Liquid Flame's cut down, and Queen Karnak's last words are, "Spin that wheel!" I'll briefly be the master and commander as I commandeer the treasures of Karnak. Open fires fast and free for the battles here. Of course, I grab the Gauche and Elf Cape before blitzing it the heck out of there. Sergeant and Kernax face the firing line. They're completely blown away by the massive volume of my balls! Listen, even though I didn't see him, Ironclaw's technically a boss, so let's spin that wheel again. Rats. I could've got some rare steals inside Karnak Castle. Wait, hang on, I'm still in here. Back inside that burning building, baby. There they are. Sorcerers. Mage Masher come to Papa. Took a little while, but I think I got time for one more. There he is, another sorcerer and Gaia gear. I got the rare steel. Man, I really wanted that common Mage Masher steel instead. Thieves are killing really slow, so I don't think I got time for a third one. Karnax blowed up, and the explosion was so huge, it took out the wall too. Restocking in Karnak, then it's eastbound and down to the desert. That's right, the desert. I thought it might be cute to try and steal an overpowered spear from a sandbear in the desert, just in case I rolled Dragoon or Freelancer. It just simply wasn't meant to be, so I returned to the main quest over at the ancient library. Fight and Pilfer's the name of the game down to the library's first boss, Ifrit. Subbing White Magic lets me put up party-wide Protect. I thought Ifrit was fire-based, but apparently he's also kick-based, so Protect's putting in a lot of work. Cure and Cura's here to rectify the magical blazes and fire twos. Confuse can connect, and it's cute, but hardly helpful this time around. I got no other strategies. It's basic attacks and Cure, the iconic duo back together again. Thieves are a low-damage job, so I sure am glad I got the Moonring Blade and the main Gauche. That extra Mage Masher helped a bunch too. Silence is surprisingly saucy. Ifrit's dust in the wind, and I'm spinning that wheel again. Dragoon? I knew it, dude! Oh well, I won't be a Dragoon for very long. Ignis Fatuus from Gaia is the strategy for the rest of the library. I'm burning every book, which includes big books bound to the basement, containing a boss. Dragoon's magic power is pretty mass, so spamming Ignis Fatuus is fairly unimpressive, but it sure beats dagger jumping. I've got the boys with Gaia and the girls equipped with white, aka Cure Duty. Just having access to Cura is so huge versus Byblos' Wind Slash. I was a little bit concerned with the damage variance on Geomancy, but a lack of drain counters and some big hits burned Byblos to a crisp. So long, Dragoon, we hardly knew ya. Oh, you're gonna give me Berserker? Right before I can head to Crescent Island for Death Sickles? This really couldn't have worked out any better. Just gotta get Sid and Mid to fix up the fire ship first. Berserkers can only utilize passive ability synergies, so White's staying on for out-of-combat healing. It's surprisingly useful. On Crescent Island, grinding harvesters was kind of a bust, so let's bust out Bingus and fly back to the ancient library. The Brainlords pull out the Thumper, and my heart sinks. I can't believe I forgot the next boss was the Sandworm. How many times must I be forced to do Sandworm Berserker only? I took a Tycoon detour to clear my head, collecting all of the treasures. So while I plunder the heirlooms of Tycoon, why not like the video and subscribe to the channel? If you'd like to support the channel even further, you can check out the Patreon or channel memberships right here on YouTube for exclusive Premium Buster videos. Premium Buster is up to episode 15, which just so happens to be the Final Fantasy V Platinum. It's also why I remembered to grab Tycoon's secret elixirs. Thank you to all of my blessed Buster boys for your continued support. Now, let's figure out how the heck I'm gonna beat Sandworm as Berserkers. I figured it out. I'm just not going to. Shiva's a boss, baby, and I'm headed up the water tower and walls to crush her. Berserkers quickly ground Shiva and her ice commanders into a fine, crystalline powder. And that means I get to spin the wheel again. Anything is better than Berserker for Sandworm, but Knight is totally acceptable. Since I'm in walls and I learned Flee from Thief, I can also steal the second elf cape from the basement. That's just efficiency right there. Back on Bingus to Karnak, where I grab some swords, rods, and spells, because who knows what jobs are coming next. Fighting Sandworm Cecil's style is slow and steady. I'm running this at 2x speed because I am what you may call a gamer. But that's making this be way harder and take a lot longer than it should. This Sandworm's lubed up and going in and out of those holes at breakneck speed. Kira counters the gravity counters, but man, that was a really annoying fight. It would have been simply hellish with Berserkers. Source, trust me bro, but I need a new job, courtesy of the wheel. World 1 Red Mage is still in its prime, but Gaia is actually surprisingly potent for getting through that desert. The best dressed job saunters down to Gon for Tycoon King's annual meet and greet. I guess he's in a bad mood this time. The GBA version lets me avoid the rage of chest collecting with this one simple trick. I call dibs on the airship, and by Finders Keepers rules, it's mine. A couple of Thunder Rod boosted Bolt 2s take down Crayclaw with a sizzling snap. I'm free to fly the skies in my airship, but I gotta do it as a new job. The wonky ronky ruins are raised, and I attempted to snag some more levels on White Mage. Gaia near Crescent works alright, as long as no black flames are present. If they are, you gotta run. Oh, come on, man. I didn't see a single death sickle as a Berserker, but then I found 2 in record time? I return to the catapult to find the Brain Lords. They have an idea. They want me to kill a turtle with an 8 protectant shell as a job with absolutely no offensive power. Funny, but I'm not laughing for some reason. Oh, that's right, because I have Gaia. But first, I protected up in the back row to slow down the turtle's exclusive physical damage. Now I get to spam Gaia. Our old friend Ignis Fatuus is back again. I've also got Stalactite. I'm protected up in the back row. There's just no threat of death thanks to Cura. Adamantoi's crushed and cooked into turtle soup. Never, ever look a gift horse in the mouth. After a quick job shuffle, I delivered the Adamantite to the Brain Lords, then flew over to Lix. Bards gets the family discount, and I used it to load up on ninja gear and lightning scrolls. Throwing one lightning scroll instantly drops the 5 black flames at Black Flame Island. This is the single most efficient way to grind in Bards' world, especially since subbing white magic transfers the magic stat to ninja, so these are even more powerful than usual. I threw scrolls at Black Flame Island for like half an hour and skyrocketed my levels. Now to fly high into the sky to take out the defense batteries. Conveniently, using the exact same strategy. You chuck a lightning scroll and you just obliterate these cannons. The soul cannon's next, and it's rapidly following everything else to the afterlife. One scroll tears off both the side launchers, then another round destroys the soul cannon itself. But the wheel demands blood. And it answers, with Berserker, again. Listen, there was no way I was getting through this challenge totally unscathed. I got 2 Death Sickles as a White Mage, but I'm going back until I get all 4. With levels and Death Sickles, the wonky ronky ruins are completely trivial. Nothing can stand up to my Berserker's raw killing power for long. I've even got white magic to heal between battles. I'm constantly forgetting that I can't even use a power armlet as a Berserker. But at least there's a second Ultimate Frisbee. King Tycoon's here and he's still grumpy from that meet and greet. Oh, come on, man, I was 1 tile away. Of course it's a Ghidra too. Very nice. Instant death from my Death Sickles is reflected. Good thing nobody else threw one down. Healed up, I'll direct all of my post-battle ire to that darned Clapperclaw Arcuavis. When berserking on bosses, you just gotta put the controller down and hope for the best. Level 27's a lot lower than I'd normally be berserking here, but those Death Sickles really are powerhouses. Berserkers are just tearing through forms one after another. First 4 down, then the revived form dies in exactly 1 combat round. You'll love to see it. That leads to the crystal and Cryo busting in. Then Xdeath busted out of the crystal, followed by me, busting out the wheel. The Bartz's World Meteor World Tour begins. My time with Necromancer is immediately over thanks to 2 Flame Rod smashes taking out Pyrobolos. Exactly 1 battle as Necromancer. Moving on. Back in black for the Titanic Titan. A couple of rounds of boosted Thundara and there's Earthshaker, only he's not dead. I love having access to Cure, man. Healed up, I zapped Titan again and survived his final attack, Earthshaker. Ah, a foolish samurai warrior wielding an Ashura sword should easily be able to take out the Chimera Brain. This may be the only time I ever see samurai, so you may as well fire up the Zeni cannon, just for funsies. Chimera Brain's buried under a mountain of gil. I'm now free to leave Bartz's World, but as what job? Okay, before I leave Bartz's World, I better use Bartz's discounted licks to stock up on throwables. And before I forget, I better make sure I get the Bard songs too. Just on the off chance I roll terribly, it's bound to happen. My luck has been simply too good so far. Doing a ring around the rosy for Toad, and then getting kicked right in the nards to get Romeo's ballad in history. Now, ninjas are stealthily jumping into the Meteor Convergence portal. Xdeath spotted us immediately, snatched us up, and chucked us in jail. Galoof's attuned to our job-shifting chicanery. His heart simply knows. Galoof's already a ninja, and immediately catapulting a catapult shuriken to get Gilgamesh out of our game. Castle Gilgamesh is a joke boss, but a joke boss is still a boss, so it's spinning the wheel, Galoof's World style. There's 26 jobs on this wheel, and we're already pulling mad doubles somehow. My thieves have hearts of gold with sub-white magic. It really just goes with everything. I also have throw, that also goes with everything. Scroll throwing makes short work of the long bridge battles. Non-joke Gilgamesh scares the bejesus out of me as I try and get through that door. White thieves are suiting up with protect, while throw thieves are throwing down the gauntlet. And by gauntlet I mean anything that's not tied down. A couple of shurikens into 2 whiffed silences. Man, why do I even bother? Another round of chucking and Gilgamesh is into phase 2. Unsilenced, unbothered, in his lane, buffing. I'm running low on ammo, but at least I've got Cure too. White magic really carries every job on its shoulders like it's Samwise Gamgee. Throw, white magic, and some basic attacks are more than enough to thwart Gilgamesh too. And then miraculously, I got 0 battles on the rest of the big bridge. Barrier blasted to Glosania, where the wheel comes out again. I raced over to Regol, running from everything. Let's start by loading up on consumables, but no high potions. Necromancer can't even use them if I wanted to. Eastbound and down again, followed by north to get to the forest. Right on cue, Mr. Moogle's jumping into the underwater caves. Necromancers would have an easy time here, but I opted to continue the iconic strategy of simply running away. Thanks, Flea! All that time as a thief really paid off. The Tyrannosaur harassing the Moogle at the end gets a Phoenix down. Necromancers are 2 for 2 on no battles and free boss fights. Mr. Moogle's gonna show me the way through the desert, but I'm not gonna pay any attention. I'm spinning that wheel. It really just keeps happening. I'm gonna refresh the wheel after this one. The Cannon Master has no fear of overpowered desert enemies. They're simply blown away by the girth of my balls! Inside the forest, the Moogle treasures are mine, including the Dancing Dagger and a 3rd Elf Cape. Kryl and the Windrake bring us back to Ball, and then after some chit-chat, I'm outside. Okay, listen, the Abductor has boss music, but it's totally not a boss. But if you wanted to count it as one, I'll throw down the stamp for your pain and suffering in this trying time. The Army and Navy veterans are sharing old war stories in kooky kelp. The Dawn Warriors really are the coolest. My favorite part is how Dorgan stayed behind to defend Xdeath's seal, while everyone else just went home. Loaded up with currently unusable Requiem and new armor, I prepared myself for the horrors of Dragonville. No one's ever returned from Dragonville, by the way. Probably because they didn't have cannons. Open fire blasts everything on the mountain with extreme prejudice. Instant kills even work on undead enemies. It's truly a sight to behold, like blasting your friends with the scout cannon in Peak. Speaking of Peak, we're there. I've got myself a couple of ordinary seamen working on the flowers, while the leading seamen focus on the big guy. Ordinary Seaman used to be one of the Canadian Navy ranks until very recently, by the way, and it's very funny that it took so long to change it. Almost as funny as landing instant death on the Dragon Pod. A few follow-up cannonballs and the Dragon Pod's cleaned up, along with my time as a cannoneer. Golly gee, a totally new job. It's a good thing I've been meticulously collecting spells this whole time. My business on this mountain is concluded. Flea's back on, and I'm running my way back down the mountain and straight up to the Drake and Castle Ball. Lena's munching some grass to make the Windrake jealous. She tricked him into greedily eating it all, only suffering some light poisoning in the process. Recovered, the Windrake flew me to Sage Guido. His cave promptly sinks, never to be seen again, courtesy of Xdeath. We've returned to the just-in-case files. I entered Sergei Castle for Zaza's favorite, Speed Song, along with Float for my services as a library technician. Since I'm currently a Mystic Knight, may as well take advantage of the greatest swords available here. I tested them outside against some turtles. Never know when a turtle shell or two could come in handy. Enough dawdling. I've arrived at Zaza's fleet before I can ask for an autograph. Gilgamesh attacks. Fighting Gilgamesh over and over kinda sucks, so I'm sucking him over and over again with Drain Sword. Get a taste of your own medicine, kiddo. Enkidu shows up to negate all of my hard work. He can get drained of all of his fluids first. Unfortunately, he kept White Wind in, so this was a very long fight. Eventually, I drained all of Enkidu's fluids, and then all alone, Gilgamesh was turned into a beef jerky like husk. Before I roll the dice by getting in that homemade submarine, I gotta spin the wheel. I'm definitely gonna need some daggers, so it's back to Kelb for Orichalcum Dirks. I've been flying through this game, so I'm completely broke, but somehow, I got these sticky fingers on some twist headbands. I returned to Zaza's ship, got in that submarine, and slammed it straight into the barrier tower. Thieves are throwing scrolls and fleeing from everything that I can't beat easily. I managed to pinch a couple of Warhammers from Reflect Knights too. There is a pretty high likelihood that at some point I roll into some kind of wizard, so I opted to go for that gold hairpin. The trap chest had a single red dragon. 2 thieves with hearts of gold, and Kira, help offset atomic rays. I'm gonna cash in on those stolen Warhammers by chucking them at that dragon's head. It wasn't anywhere close to enough, so it's back to my dwindling lightning scroll stockpile. I even got a few offensive cures in since red dragons are undead. The gold hairpin is now mine. At the save point, I could grind for reflect rings, but nah. Been there, done that, many times. I'm nearly out of throwing ammo, so I opted for Mix for Atmos at the top. Ferris was killed by meteors from space. Now she's getting sucked over to the interdimensional maw. Bards is flubbing mixes with Succubus Kiss on himself. Alright, let me pull up that mix list. This is what I wanted, Blessed Kiss. Bards is berserked, and he's coming for you, Atmos! Wow, that damage is unimpressive. Time to break out the levels. Samson Mites help boost Bart's power. The mix is Holy Water and Antidote, both easily purchased consumables. Samson's Might is only half as strong as Dragon Power, but I hawked all of my Dragon Fangs for cash. Oh, I almost forgot! Lena's got the Dancing Dagger on for massive sword dances! Just kidding, she got turned into an old lady. Ferris got sucked into the void, and then Galoof and Lena ate meteors. Lena's the next vacuum victim. Fortunately, Atmos succumbed after a singular suck. Berserk is so good in this game, man. I really gotta try to use Berserk more in every other Final Fantasy. The Barrier Tower, Zaza, and Galoof's hopes and dreams have all crumbled. I'll quietly go over here and spin the wheel while Galoof's having his breakdown. The no job it is. It's back to Flea and White for free dungeoneering. I'm totally fine with that too, since I don't want to fight a single thing as I traverse my most hated dungeon, Sage Guido's Cave. Guardian Branch quickly acquired, then it's off to Moor. Grab the Gauche 2.0 along with not a whole lot else because I'm poverty maxing and male minimalism pilled. That being said, I should have everything I need for the next boss. The forest secrets are not overly interesting. I just continued cheesing it from everything. Then I plucked up my second oldest friend, the Morning Star. And of course, the Aegis Shield, my beloved. Fleeing from flames, it's immediately back inside to face off against the crystals. Mixing it up with White and the Death Sickles. I farmed them, you know I'm gonna get some use out of them. Step 1 is setting up Protect in the back row. Freelancers get shields too, so there's no shortage of defenses here. Step 2 is setting up Resist Fire. What? For the low price of an ether and an eye drop, you too can completely negate flame attacks. Step 3 is to buff up and work down the crystals systematically. Samson's Mites are coming out on Bart's, who's desperately trying to get the fire crystal down to 50% health. I've got constant cures coming out, so the incoming physical damage is not scary at all. Okay, I actually had to swap Bart's to a greatsword because the damage is way better than that Death Sickle. Hilariously, before Bart's even got the fire crystal to its magic phase, a Death Sickle killed the water crystal in the front. Eventually, the fire crystal ended up shooting everyone with Firaga, and it was absorbed. Except on Bart's. I either missed him with the resist fire mix, or he's wearing that bone mail. With the traitorous fire crystal healing me, I just wildly swung my death size on every other crystal. My life continues as a lowly fisherman fishing for instant deaths. It took longer to set up all of that mixed nonsense than to actually win the fight. Speaking of fights, here's Xdeath. Galoof's gonna berserk himself, and I'm going to go make a sandwich. Oh look at that, the battle's concluded. Kryle's joining the party, and she gets to experience her very first job shift. Into Bard. Kryle's clearly bad luck. Bard through Xdeath's castle. Yuck. You know, I don't actually need to fight Xdeath as a Bard. I would just need to beat up Carbuncle, or Gilgamesh, or maybe even... That's right, it's Catastrophe! He's technically a boss, it says so in the bestiary. You gotta love how he counters everything with Demon Eye. I burned through a lot of gold needles in Phoenix Downs as punishment for my low damage. The final dregs of my throwable item stockpile were just enough to take out Catastrophe, and I get to spin that wheel. Anything's better than Bard. That'll do, Peg. That'll do. That'll do, Ghosts of the Dawn Warriors. That'll do. Ghosted up gladiators in the back row storm Xdeath's castle. They're sub-white, of course, for efficiency. It's really incredible how useful even low-tier white magic is. I fought my way through all the chaff, spamming flourishing finishers to the first checkpoint, grabbing the usual suspects like the ice shield along the way. Finisher's elemental attack success rate is based on your job level. I can trash Xdeath with Finisher easily, if I get lucky, but I'd rather hedge my bets. I opted to spend some time slaying dragons with Finisher. All of the dragons die to a single elemental finisher, unless for some reason they absorb it, like Ferris and a red dragon. All of the dragons are really good ability points, so I leveled up Gladiator a couple of times. I even managed to find a rare Power Staff drop. Gladiators are getting greedy for their free win on Xdeath. I'm skipping Carbuncle and Gilgamesh. There's simply no reason to risk another job swap when I rolled into the ringer. Xdeath slides in, and both Kryle and Ferris immediately land elemental finishers. Grinding was so worth it. Oh yeah, Xdeath's going down real easy. He's already in phase 3. My life as a fisherman continues. I flubbed a couple of rounds of finisher, but one final elemental attack seals the deal. I'm sent tumbling back through the rift to Bartz's world, which is the perfect time to spin the wheel. After shifting to Ninja, the Tycoon sisters are getting stripped. They're no longer in the Warriors of the Crystal. They're back to being pretty and pink princesses. Just gotta borrow Boko and then immediately plummet into a hole. The Antlion's gonna feel the force of Gaia, Ignis Factus. Okay, it sucks. Throw Mystic Knight's greatswords. Antlion runs away, Ferris rescues us, and she's immediately reinstated into the Warriors of the Crystal. That warrants a celebratory spinning of the wheel. Chemist concoctions will also be short-lived, since the gargoyles are like, right there, man. I'll savor the chance to wear my fedora with safari flaps in the back while I watch the championship match. Only to realize I gotta study since there's a test tomorrow! But then I woke up. I haven't been to school in years. Inside the library, I better get Mana's Pain, just in case Bard dares to show up again. Crossing the desert to Moor, I grab the chicken knife. I've been fleeing a lot, but it's still only on par with an air knife. Time to take on the Gargoyle Guardians. Chemist Bart swings the Power Staff, berserking a gargoyle. The Goyles throw down Protect. A second berserk from the Power Staff, and I don't need to worry about revives anymore. Just gotta tank and spank these gargoyles down. I really love how Optimize auto-equips the Bone Mail constantly. I gotta stop picking that thing up, man. This was an incredibly long fight with the gargoyles because I have very little damage output. Thanks to back row defenses, Protect, and Cura versus only physical attackers, I won out eventually. That leads to yet another spin of the wheel. Oh, well, back to more for the tier 3 magic spells then. Heck yeah, I still got flame rods from back in Karnak too. Black mages are gonna burn this pyramid to the ground. The pyramid is rife with treasures and I have no idea what's coming next, so I took some detours. Most notable is the Flame and Ice Shield. You know what? I'm just gonna grab all of the easy trap chests. When I say that I burned the pyramid to the ground, I really meant it. I charred every single battle to a crisp. Having that gold hairpin from the barrier tower really helped. And would you look at that, there's a second one. And another ribbon too. At the top I grabbed the first tablet, then I continued the Flaming Fiesta over on Melusine. That's right, on Melusine, because she's completely cooked with Fyraga before she can ever even consider a barrier shift. But I will consider a job shift after Lena gets back in the party. Grabbing those shields was totally worth it, man. Getting to level 5 black magic was also totally worth it. Sorry, Lena, you were busy partying in Tycoon instead of studying like the rest of us. Len is relegated to continued Cecil style, aka cure duty, as my Dark Knight archetypes continue to unload fire 3s all over the place. This mirrors how Xdeath is unloading holes all over the place. Damn, he got the Muggles too. Job Shiftin's been on a rapid fire kick recently, so why not get some rapid fire kicks with Hermes sandals from Phantom Village? 2 pairs is gonna have to do for now. Through the pub for the Thief Knife, and finally, releasing Bingus. Flying straight down to the North Desert to grind. Fast Firaggers are filling up my EXP bar. After an initial grind, I flew over to Ragol and was gifted the Ribbon. I restocked on some cabins, then did the standard Merge World setup. A brief trip back to Phantom for Hermes Sandals number 3, followed by a return to Boko. The magic lamp is seized from behind the waterfall, and I stopped by Kuza on the way back. I can take any 3 legendary weapons. With Job Shifting, I can't predict anything that's going to be useful. The Assassin's Dagger is the most likely to be usable, then it's probably the Magus Rod and Sage Staff, I guess. After those critical decisions, Xdeath releases the Monsters of the Void, and ironically, opens the door for me to enter the Rift. I flew Bingus back to the North Desert and head into the Phoenix Tower. I used the Thief Knife's mug to pilfer a Reflect Ring. That's Omniscient solved. Wait, do I even need to bother with Omniscient? Do I even need to bother with anything else? Nope. Tablets, schmablets. I grinded to level 40 in the desert, then I used the cash to buy every single spell, just in case I roll into one of the various flavors of Wizard. I did even more shopping for an eclectic mix of equipables and consumables in Phantom. Then it's straight into the Rift, baby! Ninja's smoke means I never have to fight anything. It's a beautiful thing. I plundered every single chest as I worked through the factory and the forest. That enhancer sword is actually useful right now as I'm accosted by the big blue woman, Califasteri. I've come prepared with equipment. Ferris is my Reflect Ring bearer. Califasteri can reflect herself all she likes, because we Magus sisters now, boys. Len is weaker with only tier 2 spells, but everyone else is blasting hasted Firagas at Califasteri from Ferris. Oh no, not Shell. That'll slow this down a little bit. Califasteri just can't do anything else that's meaningful, besides giving me a new job via the wheel. Dancer was inevitable. Good thing I'm 4 for 4 on those ribbons. I'm not even gonna need to dance, because smoke lets me avoid all the random battles. I snagged the 1 coral ring in the cave, then deftly dodged Omega. Whoa, another talking book? Fire spells and books are a match made in heaven, which is exactly where a panda's about to go. He never knew what hit him. Toad counters are completely dodged thanks to Ribbon. Huh, was Dancer actually a kind of solid pull for once? Maybe, but our time with Dancer is already over. The wheel's coming out again. Oh, how fun! Everyone's favorite bad job, and that's 4 for 4 on the advanced jobs. I predict using smoke to get by every random battle to enter the Dimension Castle. I also predict using hasted black magic to trash Azumagia. What a shocker! All my predictions came true. Oracle's naturally high magic offsets Azumagia's mega magical defense. He's also weak to bio. It's the return of the disgusting Slime Mage. I actually used Condemn Rejuvenate too once. Shocking. Azumagia is defeated thanks to black magic, and it's time for a new job. This job doesn't even matter, because all I need to do is head upstairs and get into a single battle. I'm mixing up a Levy Salve and then smoke bombing out of there. Floating with a Reflect Ring on, Catastrophe is completely free. Gravity 100 simply can't pull down Ferris. Then I just meleeed Catastrophe to death with Red Mage's sword swinging. I'm rewarded with a super floppy kiss as I spin to win, yet again. Stand at attention, the captain's on deck. Halicarnassus gets 1 ribbon off, which I counter with a Maiden's Kiss, 4 times. Weapons free, boys, open fire. Hasted open fires blow Halicarnassus to smithereens before she can really do anything else. Been there, done that. What's next? Just keeps getting better and better. I don't need no coral or reflect rings this time. Mystic Knights are just gonna buff up with Breakblade and practice stoicism. I laid in wait, healing through every spell until Gigaflare started charging up. A singular strike petrified Twintania for an instant kill. Rock and roll, and spin that wheel. White Magic's carried me through many encounters. I'm ready to embrace life as a fully fledged White Mage, just minus the Holy Spell. You know, like the most important one. Smoking past every single random encounter continues as I plunder the remaining treasures held within the Crystal Dimension. No Gilgamesh. Oh right, I blew right past him because I was a gladiator. I could fight Necrophobe, but nah. I headed straight to Xdeath, but not before switching to Sub-Gaia. What, are you crazy? Why would I use black magic? I'm gonna need that MP for my white magic spells, and Gaia is always free. Galoof's attuned to the job shifts. He's got the memo. The entirety of the Dawn Warriors are summoning up the rage of the earth to push back the void. Even Lena's dad is out here using Geomancy. Now it's my turn. Wind Slash! Okay, just kidding, buffs first. Yeah, okay, definitely should have brought black magic. But Lena doesn't have it. What, you want me to exclude her? I need a uniform party setup. Wind Slash hits for like 800 to 900 damage. I offer you my kingdom for the ability to equip an air knife. Too bad White Mage is one of the 3 jobs that can't use it. White Mages are the masters of survivability. I'm in the back row, with Protect, Shell, and Blink constantly active. If something does connect on me, I've got Cure 3, the greatest healing spell in the game. Call me Sundowner, I'm heckin' invincible. Except a White Hole. That's a 2-turn tax. But it's actually even more since dying strips all my buffs. I'm all smiles, baby. With Shell active, White Hole can actually whiff though. Tree Hugger Xdeath is a very long fight, since all I have is Wind Slash for damage. With my damage being so low, there was no way I was dodging the Meteor phase. But I've got Shell and Curaga, and they are definitely putting in work. After what felt like an eternity, and many meteors, I outlasted the Tree Man. Now it's time for Everything Man! At the very least, there's no more white holes, thank God. 3 Lamp Rips for Mega Flare, Tsunami, and Zantetsuken to destroy the lady in the back. The big beefy dude's vacuum waves are being eaten by blink charges, and if one does happen to go through, it's severely reduced by the back row with Protect on. Exact same thing with Almagust. It's a much more manageable 800 damage thanks to Shell. I can easily cure 800 damage. Oh joy, he's using Dispel. Dispel strips all 3 of my buffs, so that's like an entire round of rebuffing. I got a little overzealous with the lamp, so here's Carbuncle putting Reflect on my party. Refreshing buffs is gonna have to wait until that wears off. No healing for a little bit either, so I may as well just continue all the way down to Golem. That's what you may call a very survivable Grand Cross. Zombie and critical HP are fixable with items. Berserker on a White Mage is annoying, especially since Ferris is using the heal staff. It's like Xdeath knew to berserk her specifically. I don't even know why I ever picked that thing up, man. I never use it. Gaia always summons up Wind Slash, and Wind Slash targets everything. Gonna have to hunker down for the long haul for this one. Carbuncle's Reflect wore off, so the buff train's back in the station, baby. Now the fights become routine. I'm following the flowchart. Keep HP maxed out, rebuff with Protect and Shell after dispels, maintain blink charges, and spam Gaia over and over again. That's about as bad a Grand Cross as you can get. Blind, Confuse, Death, and Petrify. It's no problem for me, just a little inconvenient. Eventually I restabilized after eating several terrible Grand Crosses. I threw out enough Wind Slashes to enter the Meteor phase. Bart succumbed to the rocks from space, but I can just get him up again. And rebuff and continue spamming my only damage output, Wind Slash. Oh boy, double Meteor! God, I love White Mages so much, it's unreal. Bart's threw out a final desperate Wind Slash that finished off Xdeath. That's Final Fantasy V completed while job shifting after every boss. I'm punching out of this one. Doing the job Shuffle Kerfuffle in Final Fantasy V was fast and furious, clocking it at 8 hours, 37 minutes, and 52 seconds. Gonna chalk a lot of that up to getting a White Mage pull early. A lot of my job pulls ended up lining up nicely. I got Ninja right after the airship, and that let me farm super fast and efficiently at Black Flame Island. Throw ended up being a really easy out for a lot of Galoof's World too. Black Mage after the Gargoyles really sealed the deal. I leveled up incredibly fast just traversing the pyramid and getting all the treasures. It was crazy. I went from like level 1 Black Magic to like level 5. Shote and Shiva saved me some serious headaches. I'd rather not do Sandworm as Berserkers a 4th time. Yeah, that's right, 4th, because I already did the GBA Berserker only challenge. It'll come out at some point. The crystals in Galoof's World gave me Bard, and I had a pretty heavy choice to make. If I fought Gilgamesh in Xdeath's castle, I'd get a new job pull. But that would also mean I'd get another forced boss fight, which might have flubbed my Rift attempt. I intentionally held back all of the tablet bosses just in case I got something truly awful inside the Rift. Being able to leave and crush a pair of gargoyles or one of the other optional bosses for a new job would have helped a lot. Thankfully, I just didn't need to. Black magic was more than enough. In fact, it was so enough that I should have stuck with black magic on my white mage at Neo Xdeath. Definitely would have been a lot more powerful over Geomancy, but you know, I had to do it. You could run this job change after every boss challenge 100 times and get a totally different run every time. But for me, this was like a marathon runner doing a 5K. I barely broke a sweat. Thanks for watching with a special extra big, huge even, double thank you to all my blessed Buster boys. I'll catch you all soon in the next video.